What's going on, MASL Universe? Hope everyone has enjoyed the playoffs so far. I think my anxiety levels have finally subsided a little bit, but I have to emphasize on the term a little bit. My name is Christian Filly Filimon, and I'm joined today by the head coach of the Florida Tropics, Clay Roberts. Clay, thank you for carving out a little time in your schedule to come on the Zoom call with me today.
Thanks for having us. Great job on all the coverage so far. It's been fantastic listening to the interviews and following the story of this playoff and not just the playoff, the whole season. So thanks for having me.
This is an honor, and thank you for the compliments. Now, you finished the regular season 10-3. You earned a bye in the first round of the playoffs. First and foremost, congratulations on a successful 2021 campaign. How excited are you and the boys to finally be getting back to competitive action?
We're thrilled. Obviously we're thrilled as an organization. It's our first, playoff appearance. Obviously last season we were on our way. We feel like, and the pandemic shut it down. But it's nice to be in the position and get to experience something for the first time, not only just for our club, but for this team. Obviously there's new players every season, and this group of players have worked incredibly hard this season. And so to see the fruits of their hard work come out in a playoff opportunity, we're thrilled.
The last time you and I saw each other, you guys were up in our neck of the woods in Ontario. You've had a little bit of time off. Like, what have you in the Tropics been up to, and how have you been preparing for the next round?
Yeah, obviously, it's been a couple weeks since we've played a last game, and felt like we came off a great trip out west and had two great wins to finish off a regular season. And it felt like we were playing really well and excited about those games and the outcomes that we were able to come out with. And so leading into the playoffs, we've just tried to keep a great mindset. And obviously we've had a couple weeks off. And so as we prepared and started talking about the playoffs, we felt it was going to be really important for us to mentally stay on track with the rest of the league. Obviously the playoffs starting last week, and the series were fantastic. The games were great, and it was really anybody's game, every time. And so, we were thrilled to watch, but we thought to stay in the right mindset. Everyone else was in game mode, and we needed to stay there. So our training was extremely demanding, and we tried to stay in a game shape as much as possible at the same time as everybody else. So the games have been fantastic. We're excited about our opportunity to get into this playoffs.
Which match has been the most fun for you to watch?
To be honest with you, they've all been great. We thought the series with Ontario and Dallas was fascinating to watch. You have a team in Dallas, the heavy underdogs, just really nothing to lose and make a game out of it each time. And so they were just a lot of fun to watch. The series with Kansas City and St. Louis is always this big rivalry, and knew it was going to be just wide open, a lot of goals, and that proved itself as well. And in the last series with Tacoma and San Diego was probably the most controlled series. And controlled games, which is the style of play of those guys, and just to see those games go to overtime and be close till the end and set piece goals just was fascinating. To be honest with you, we're thrilled to have watched the first round and watch excitement on the screen, and so we're excited to be back on the field and participate now.
Of course. Now, last year, you mentioned it, you had an outstanding season. You went 18-3, capturing the Eastern Conference Championship. You personally were named MASL Coach of the Year. It looked like everything was going to fall into place down in Lakeland until the toughest opponent, which was everybody's toughest opponent, happened, a global pandemic. No need to get into details there, but how happy are you that the success of the 2019-2020 campaign has bled into this regular season?
The team last season was a fantastic group of men, and they worked hard, and they earned every ounce of an 18-3 record. And so, we're excited to take a majority of those players and move them into this season like every offseason, you're always looking at what are strengths and weaknesses and who's available to add, if we can get them to join us and say yes to the Tropics. And so we feel like we made some great additions to an already solid group of players, and those guys have come together. To put a room full of great players is easy on paper, but there's a lot of character that comes with those players. And so putting those together for the better and to play for each other is sometimes a pretty difficult task. But these guys, kudos to them. These guys understand the big picture and understand that if they can be selfless for a season and work hard for each other, everyone's going to reap a benefit. And so, once again, to follow up last season's campaign with another 10-3 season has been fantastic. These guys have worked hard and they've earned every ounce of it.
Absolutely. And as a result of that, you got to buy in the playoffs. Let's talk about that. You got to sit and observe and, like us, watch outstanding matches. We already touched on that. As a result of the game in Ontario, you selected the San Diego Sockers as your opponent. What led you to that decision as opposed to choosing any of the other teams that advanced?
To be honest, Philly, we had the entire, the team and the office. We had the screen, we had some food, and we spent a good amount of time watching all the games and having good discussion. We had our whiteboard up there and talking about lineups and matchups and at the end of the day, I think we all decided that every game's going to be tough. Every opponent's going to be tough. And if there was a seeding, if we were just in a playoff where there was a seeding where we were 1, Ontario was 2, and Kansas City 3, we would have played a number 4 in a semifinal. And so, we don't need to give anyone any added influence to want to beat us and calling anybody out, so to speak, with the selection. So we just said, look, this is, this would be a 4 seed, so to speak. And let's just have some of the regular season mean something. We think the regular season has been one of the most difficult regular seasons, considering the COVID, the travel, all the protocols. And I, for me personally, I don't want that to be lost. Our players in this league have gone through a lot, and they've overcome, adversity and risked health. And so I think the regular season has meant a lot. And so that came into play in our decision that, just keep it along, where the seeds would fall out. But the matchup against San Diego is also, they beat us, and we want to play them again. We get a chance to play them again, and it'll mean something if we're able to win. And they're a great opponent, just like Ontario and Kansas City, and so we're excited about our selection.
I don't know if you somehow magically saw like my lineup of questions. You practically bleeding into every question I'm about to ask, which I love. Now, you said it. You beat Ontario and Kansas City during the regular season. San Diego beat you on your home turf back in February. I imagine that revenge factor had to come into play in the selection process.
Yeah, I mean, we to say it wasn't something that was in the discussion, we'd be lying. And I think that series, for all the teams that come down and play the way we did, so many games in a short amount of time, for us as a group, we didn't, we had injuries, we had new players joining us that weekend, and we felt we played well, but they're a great team. They played well. And so at the time, I don't know if we really, knew who we were as a team still, and we're still trying new pieces out. And I think in that third game against Ontario, we saw a little bit of our capability come together. And so naturally it gave us a few weeks to train and get on the same page and to go out west and play the way we did, kind of confirm that, hey, we made some good choices and this may or may not work out. And so let's have a chance to play San Diego again. We love to have a chance to beat them, but we know they've made some great additions into Voy Morgan and Raymond and Santana. And so they're just a great team as well. And so we know this is going to be a great matchup. We like the matchup just offensively and defensively. So we're excited. We're ready to get to Kansas City.
Absolutely. We can't wait for these matchups. What has changed within the team, or what would you say has improved, though, since your last encounter with the Sockers?
I think, these players have gone through a lot, like I mentioned. We were all in lockdown for months. And then all of a sudden we were saying, okay, we're going to have a season. And the players, they weren't training in a day-to-day basis, across the league. And so I think this season has been a development process for every team. And to have our players, even going back to the last game out west, to be able to just keep practicing. Practice makes perfect. We teach the kids that, and it's no different for these professionals. And so that time together, the time to make our craft the best that we can, coming into a one opponent series, is beneficial. And we've done our best to take advantage of that. We've worked really hard in practice and come together even more as a team, which has been fantastic. And so, again, we know that there's no easy task in a playoff, but we feel like we have taken advantage of the opportunity that was awarded via our rules, and we're coming into Kansas City with confidence.
How much different, if at all different, will training be now that you know who you're going to be matched up against?
Yeah, we had a great practice today. We made our selection last night and didn't want to wait till Monday. I think we had a deadline at 10 o'clock to make our selection, but we said, let's pick last night. Let's go to sleep with the idea of who we're going to play and let the coaching staff stay up late and take advantage of practice today. So there's no time wasted on preparation. And so we had a great day of practice today. And I think that knowing who your opponent is, you can make your practice very specific for the game and talk about your matchups, talk about set pieces that you may be able to throw into play. And we've got one opponent for 2 games. And so to know as much about them as we can is to our advantage, and to be able to talk specifically about the idea of the game and the rhythm in which we want to try and play is for us to prepare for. So we're hopeful that we can cover those details, and just more hopeful that we can execute them on Thursday.
What player or players on San Diego are you the most concerned with?
It's a great question. I don't know if the word concerned is the right word. I think we respect them as a team. I would rather say we respect a lot of their players. We respect that they have players that have been in championships. We respect that they have players that have been in this league for a long time. And I think by showing some of that respect to an opponent, you hold them in a high regard, which holds you to a high standard of preparation. And so that's been our discussion. I think that they have plenty of talent to score goals. They have a great goalkeeper duo. We know that they're a top team, and we've got to be at our best to win. And so a specific name, I don't have a specific name. San Diego Sockers are a great team, a great franchise, and have a great history, and we're excited to play them.
Absolutely. Great answer. You mentioned this, you got to hold your opponent in respect, and I know you should never look ahead of your opponent, but any thoughts on who you'd prefer to play in the final should you advance against the Sockers?
If we're able to get through this series with the Sockers, Ontario and Kansas City are our top teams, and we think that they're going to have a grudge match of a series. And the way they play, the physicality of their style will be a fantastic series to watch. I don't know if we have either one of the opponents that we would be looking forward to. It's the MASL final if we're able to get there. And it really doesn't matter who we're going to play. We're going to be excited about the opportunity and know that both teams have also earned their way there. And we've got to be at our best on every detail. So if we are able to get through San Diego and we see Ontario, fantastic. We feel like we've played great against them in 2 matchups already. And we feel the same way about Kansas City, also playing them twice. We know that both teams are different and have progressed. But so have we. And so if we're able to get to a championship game, then we're just excited to be there, and good luck to both those clubs as they battle it out in their semifinal.
I love it. I love it. I mean, Clay, thank you so much for your time today. Before I let you go, are there any last words or thoughts you'd like to leave our audience with?
Yeah, just a huge thank you to everybody. I know it's kind of been put out there in previous interviews, but Philly, thank you to you. The excitement that you've brought and calling the games, you guys have done a fantastic job. In the in-game calls and doing the extra stuff to the fans that have followed. Thank you for being there. Most importantly for me, the players, thank you for participating. There are a lot of players that chose not to participate because of what's going on. I think that the guys that have gone through a season, have, like I said, have gone through adversity and they've put themselves at risk. And so I know as a coach, I'm grateful for my own players and the players in the league, but most importantly, for the owners who've kept our league alive. These owners have risked everything. And I know that there's been huge sacrifices made. So, the owners that kept this season alive, that kept our game alive, that didn't let it just go to the wayside, I'm very grateful. And I think that they will stand have a big part of history for keeping this indoor game alive and relevant. And so thank you to everybody that has supported that effort.
Absolutely. And Clay, thanks again. Congrats on an amazing regular season. Good luck in the playoffs. Can't wait to see the excitement and the thunder that the Tropics are going to bring to Independence, Missouri. We're all looking forward to it. I know you are too. I said it earlier. You got a smile ear to ear. I know you're excited. So thank you and good luck to you guys in the playoffs.
Thanks so much, Philly.
All right. Have a good one.